The stock market is fake, money is fake, it's all fake, and I'm gonna show you why.
Name of the game, move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
If you're watching this video, hopefully you're a subscriber or soon to become one, because over 90% of my viewers are not. Help me out here. I'm a charismatic guy. I want you to like me. Please like me. That's right, Wall Street is not real. You probably heard that before, but today we're gonna get to the bottom of this. You see, recently I made a trade that had more than a 1,500% return. Don't worry, I've got proof. And we're gonna talk about that too, but first, a little backstory. If you are a subscriber or at least a regular viewer, you would know a little bit about me. Like, I dabbled in trading, options and Forex mainly. I regularly invest, but during COVID, the market turned the easy button on. So I started trading like a crackhead. Every morning by like 3 a.m., me and my friend were up, ready to carpe diem. Shout out to Robin Williams. And we slayed. We were masters of the universe. Financial wizards that could not be stopped. The world was my oyster. I don't even know what that idiom means. Oysters are delicious, but I was lathering that thing up with lemons, horseradish, and some cocktail sauce. That's ridiculous. Anyway, I was making like $500 a day trading Ford, GE, and some other options. Then in the wee hours of the night, I'd hammer out some New Zealand or Aussie pairs on Forex and make another 200 to 300. I could not lose until I could. The fun stopped, the easy money was gone, and I went back to grabbing value dividend stocks and my other faves and just letting my portfolio build up. So I had this account that I had basically transferred all of my money out since I was no longer day trading. And there was like $1.30 left. And here is where the greatest trade ever takes place. You see, I didn't want to waste time transferring $1.30 back into my checking account. So instead, I looked for some penny stocks where I could buy a few shares and just not care about it. I did all of like 2 minutes of research and found this little company called KULR Technology. I think at this point, I should warn you that nothing in this video should be construed as financial advice. If you buy anything and lose everything, well then it's all your fault. Anyway, KULR Technology does thermal management technology, and I got a whopping 4 shares at a price of 29 cents a share. I'd put my $1.30 to good use. I think it was $1.30, but whatever. It was not a lot of money. But I bought those 4 shares and left it alone, went on with life, forgot all about it. Well, as the fake stock market would have it, I logged back into my account maybe like a week ago, and this stock has had over a 1,500% return in a short few months.
Magnificent! Magnificent! Magnificent!
The stock market is fake. People love to say they do analysis and read financials, but the reality is the entire stock market is nothing but a momentum lever. And that momentum comes from
Fugazi, fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust.
Sure, maybe back in the day, the market moved on fundamentals, and maybe the long-term direction of the market still has a basis in fundamentals, but it's just monopoly money now. It's one big Ponzi scheme.
The reality is, profits from stocks come from other investors who are buying and selling stocks. When an investor buys a stock for $10 and sells it for $11, that $11 comes from another investor, someone who will then start hunting for yet another investor who will give him $12, and so on. This is technically a negative-sum scenario for investors because they are contributing all the money, and there are fees attached to every transaction. The company that issued the stock isn't involved in these transactions, so whether the business is making or losing money is irrelevant.
The NYSE has a $28 trillion market cap. The NASDAQ, $20 trillion. That might as well be a zectosmectophillion. Is that a real number? I don't know, and it doesn't matter.
Under the current monetary system, we borrow all of our currency into existence, and we promise to pay it back plus interest. If you borrow the very first dollar into existence, and that's the only dollar that exists on the planet, but you promise to pay it back plus another dollar's worth of interest, where do you get the second dollar? The answer is you have to borrow that. It's a Ponzi scheme because you can never pay it off. It always requires that we go deeper into debt.
The market is crazy. Ever since we've gone to this 24-hour news cycle, the world is just chasing the tiger's tail. I think that's a thing. I swear I heard it somewhere. If it isn't, Well, it is now. The market just does whatever it wants, likely due to all the manipulation that's present. In the financial news, they'll just grab whatever story they can find to justify the move. And it doesn't matter what story they give you. I've literally seen them use the same story to justify the market going in both directions. I bought a stock for 29 cents, and a few months later, it was trading 1,500% higher, simply because they announced they were gonna buy Bitcoin with their free cash. Yes, Bitcoin, the other great Ponzi scheme. Ask yourself, what are you buying when you buy a stock? And where does that company derive its value from? In the case of KULR Technology, one day it's worth 29 cents, then suddenly someone said, nope, it should be worth $5. And now today it's like worth $3. How does any of that make sense? They didn't make any more money. They didn't change the fundamentals of their company. It's simply a representation of what people are willing to pay. And people are willing to pay whatever some random person on CNBC tells them to pay. I didn't even know what KULR was. It was a random purchase. But now there's tons of financial gurus online trying to show you their technical analysis on why this stock is either flying to the moon or going to hang out down there with the Titanic. Like, listen, just the way they talk.
What we came to discuss here in today's video is no other than KULR. As you all know, today's end of the year sell-off ends. With that being said, I do expect to see a turnaround for KULR in many other stocks, more so the quantum computing space and AI, to see a turnaround in January and start things off in 2025 pretty darn hot.
Well, the chart has responded very positively and the boards are buzzing with new excitement. What do you think about it?
I feel like the charts have responded. The boards are buzzing. What does that mean? Is there any other thing in your life that you would run with your feelings? You don't drive around ignoring your fuel gauge and say, oh, I feel like it should have enough gas. I believe there might be money in my account. You see, this is the problem. The company you are investing in has nothing to do with the price you are paying for the stock. The stock market and Wall Street are textbook Ponzi schemes, where the only way you make money is by finding someone else to sell your stock to.
A Ponzi scheme simply brings in more investors to pay off the previous investors. And because these new investors have also been promised large returns, the scheme must then find an even bigger group of investors to pay them off. All the while, the creators of the scheme are skimming cash from each group of investors. Because a Ponzi scheme doesn't generate any wealth itself, it must constantly bring in larger and larger groups of investors to keep functioning. Eventually, no more new investors can be found, or large numbers of previous investors all cash out at the same time, and the scheme collapses in on itself. By this time, the perpetrators of the scheme have siphoned off tremendous amounts of money for themselves, while the investors are left out of pocket and out of luck.
If the company makes more money, you don't make more money. Now, yes, there are some companies that still pay dividends, and those are in fact the only companies I invest in. And I'm not saying you can't make a lot of money in the stock market, because you can create enormous wealth there, but you need to be honest about what it is. They say cute terms like buy low, sell high, average down, the trend is your friend, bears make money, bulls make money, pigs get slaughtered. But the reality is, when you buy a stock, the only thing you're trying to find is a bigger idiot that will buy the stock from you at a higher price than you paid, hopefully a multiple. That, my friend, is a Ponzi scheme. It's Lou Pearlman and Bernie Madoff on crack. I don't do many finance videos on this channel, so I don't care if you believe me or not. I'm just waiting for someone to take to the comments and call me all types of idiots. But where's the lie? And I'm gonna repeat, you can get filthy rich in the stock market, but that doesn't mean it's not fake. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. If tomorrow every Tesla in America suddenly blew up, well, I'd be dead. But more importantly, the stock would go to zero and Elon would be homeless. Tesla, the company, has X amount of cash. So whether or not the market thinks the stock is worth $10,000 or $10 a share, they make money from the product they create. If you own their stock, you make money when someone else comes along and bids up the price. Market value is derived from one investor to the next. You sell a stock, someone else is buying it, and so on and so forth. Yes, money is being exchanged through this entire process. Until a stock goes bust, then it's hot potato. You think stock has any real value outside of what the next person will pay? Ask Enron shareholders how that worked out for them. or Lehman Brothers. It is make-believe. What pulls the stock market lever is good marketing. And I know this is just one giant rant, but that's my point. The stock market is fake. So yes, I can tell someone I had a trade with a 1,500% return. That sounds so much better than saying I made $20 in 4 months.